Welcome to those in the chamber as well as those who are joining us virtually. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This is a public meeting as required by Section 4 of the Drainage Act to afford affected landowners an opportunity to make representation with respect to the engineer's report regarding the 7th Avenue drain. So I just want to make sure that everyone knows. I realize we have a fullish gallery this evening. This is a step in the process. We realize that you're here as it will pertain to the Belmont School. Tonight we'll be going over some technical aspects of the report, and this is one of the steps in the process. Does any member of council have a disclosure of interest concerning the proposal? And just to continue on, while we discuss the technical aspects of the engineer's report for the 7th Avenue drain, any concerns regarding individual assessments will not be dealt with until after the final report has been considered, adopted, and a provisional bylaw passed. A meeting for the Court of Revision regarding assessments will be scheduled at a later date, and notice will be mailed to the owner of every property that has been assessed into the subject drain. I'd like to call upon Mr. Brooks. Mr. Brooks is our Director of Infrastructure and Community Services.
Thank you, Mayor Sloan. So we are here tonight to consider the 7th Avenue drain. Central Elgin signed a petition under Section 4 of the Ontario Drainage Act on June 14th, 2023. And Brandon Widner of Spreet & Associates was hired to prepare the drainage report. Numerous meetings have taken place with the affected landowners over the past several months, and Mr. Widner filed his final report on April 30th, 2024. The process for this meeting allows any members of the public to add or remove their name from the petition and to hear questions or concerns from affected landowners. If there are concerns with the report that council would like to have addressed, it may refer the report back to the engineer and schedule another meeting to consider the revised report. Council may adopt the report through the first and second reading of the bylaw that is read later this evening at the council meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks. Is Mr. Widner here? Oh, I didn't see him. Oh, I don't have my glasses on. He's hiding. If I could now introduce Brandon Widner from Spreet & Associates, who will summarize the report. Welcome, Brandon.
Good evening, everybody. Do we have the plan to put on the screen or not? So tonight we have the 7th Avenue drain. This drain's on the north end of Belmont, as I'm sure we're all aware. And if we bring the plan up, we can see it. We were appointed on this drain last year. We had an original meeting in September of 2023. So we bring the plan up, if it's there. Maybe it's in the other attachment. So this drain effectively is on the north part of Belmont. To another property, which is Craigholm Estates. All that water is then conveyed via surface currently into the other farm, which is owned by the Ontario Limited Company. So the municipality originally requested proper drainage in this area, mainly to catch all the surface water that's coming from the north side. As well as we're all aware, there's being a subdivision being developed, as well as a school that's proposed. So the Drainage Act, there's many ways you can use it. Typically it's agricultural, but yes, we can do it through more developed areas as well. So what we have done, as the plan is now on the screen, we've proposed a drain through the bottom end farm up to the Craigholm property. The Craigholm property, as you know, has a subdivision plan. To minimize disturbance or changing that plan to a minimum, if you look on the left side of this screen, the other screen, Delaney, the other image. So if you look on the left, we've tried to utilize the easements that are in place for that subdivision. So that subdivision has a drainage schematic. It's on stormwater management. All of that development is proposed to go to a stormwater management facility on the south end of that property. We have tried to utilize the storm easements that were in place. So we are coming out of the farm on the west side. We're going down what is a rear yard catch basin easement. We then go up into the future road, jog down the future road, and then we are in the back of, which is proposed to be townhouses, up into the school property. So that's to minimize any disturbance to the subdivision. So we're not changing their plans, trying to minimize disturbance there. As well, Thames Valley District School Board is in the middle of a site plan as well. So we've proposed the drain to follow the west limit of their property. So it's in their property, not in Craighall. It is then going to go up to the road and go down their property, parallel the road, not in the road allowance, but in their property. Then we will cross the road into Pearl Family Farms. So a little more complicated than the drains we typically do, but we've tried to accommodate the players that we have. We have 4 major landowners here and a road authority. I guess the way the drain is assessed for people's reference is it's assessed as a regular drainage project, and anybody that is, let's say, developing, or we have to accommodate them, i.e. the subdivision in Thames Valley, they pay the increased cost that it costs to, to avoid their future infrastructure, their lot layout, etc. So tonight we have a pretty straightforward drain from a drainage perspective, but it's complicated in that the amount of rerouting that's been done. So we have 50 meters of ditch proposed in the bottom end farm. That's to get an outlet to Kettle Creek. We then have about 690 meters of 24 to 21 inch concrete tile and sewer pipe. So we're still using regular agricultural construction methods in the farm. This is on the farm west of the subdivision. The rest of this drain is all sealed sewer pipe, which is typical in a subdivision. The municipality is paying the increased cost for all the work on 7th Ave. We're putting a new surface and subsurface pipe across that road. They're assessed those costs. So that's where the municipality's assessment's being driven as well. There is some grant on this for the 2 agricultural properties. When we had discussions with the landowners, the Pearl family has indicated, not knowing the future with their property on the north side, they asked for an improved design, which means more capacity. So we've assessed them for increasing the design capacity as well on the drain. That's why you see a non-grantable assessment and a grantable. You only get grant on an 1.5 inch design. We have gave the Pearl family an increased design, essentially a 2-year pre-development. It works out to about 300 liters a second. So the drain is assessed a little differently than some of the other ones that you've seen recently. We assess it more via how much they're actually outletting based on the proposed design. Currently, the watershed is defined on page 1 as the dark line. When the subdivision is completed, the intention was the areas that are hatched will be directly connected to this drain and not into their stormwater management. The rest of the subdivision is going to the stormwater management facility. That being said, the outlet release rates are in this report and they're outlined. Same thing goes for the Thames Valley School Board. It's in there. We've provided a connection. Their engineers, development engineering, we've worked with them on matching the connections. So I guess the only other thing that you're going to see that's also different is the allowances to these 2 properties are drastically higher than the agricultural properties. That's to account that these are residential lands or institutional. So we're looking at a total project cost of $437,000. This is an estimated cost, as you'll see on Schedule B. It's assessed out on Schedule C. The open portion is relatively cheap. It's about $7,000. The remaining is $430,000 is to the main drain and all the structures. There's a large number of manholes, those kind of parts of the drain, that's why you're attributing to a much larger cost than a typical drain that we would see here that's 700 meters long. That being said, I'm happy to answer any questions if there is any. There is essentially 4 landowners here at play, and I don't know if any of them are in attendance.
Thank you, Mr. Widner. I can ask, the 4 landowners are Pearl, the numbered company, the Thames Valley School Board, and Craigholm.
Correct. And the municipality.
Delaney, do we have anyone online?
Mr. Mayor, we do not have any online attendees at this time. Thank you.
Thanks, Ms. Leach. Let me ask now if any members of council have any questions. Are there any landowners that are present in the gallery that wish to speak to this? Sorry? Thank you. Anyone else? Okay. In our opinion, the public has been given a fair opportunity to express their views regarding the engineer's report. It should again be stated, if there are no further questions, please be advised that any person wishing further information on the actions of council regarding the 7th Avenue drain, please email Delaney Leach or contact her by phone at the municipal office. This meeting is now adjourned.